When Hurricane Helene hit a year ago, it shredded the southeastern U.S., killing more than 250 people, causing almost $80 billion of damage. Well, one community hit hard was Unicoi County, Tennessee. It lost its hospital to floodwaters, leading to a dramatic rooftop rescue. And as national environmental correspondent David Schecter tells us, it also revealed that dozens of other hospitals across America could face similar flood risks.
Do you think people adequately respect what the river could do?
I think they respect it more now than they ever have.
Jimmy Irwin has worked in emergency services in Unicoi County, Tennessee, since he was a teenager. He's one of many people here who never envisioned what Hurricane Helene could do to the county's now abandoned hospital.
And we got reports of massive water was coming our way.
A year ago, EMS medic Rebecca Harrison had just finished a 24-hour shift when she was called back to work.
It was a mess. It was a complete mess.
County officials, fearing the hospital would flood, ordered all patients evacuated from Unicoi County Hospital. But the water was already too high for ambulances to safely drive away.
As I walked in the front, the entire front of the hospital, in the parking lot, was full of water.
Michelle Matson, an emergency management coordinator for the state, was also on the scene.
We have Plan B now. Plan B is going to have to be some other way to get out because now we're trapped.
Patients were loaded onto life rafts. For everyone else, the fire department put its ladders to work.
If it hadn't have been for them and their ladder, it would have been a different story because there was no way to get on the roof.
Angel Mitchell was at the hospital that day visiting her mother, who was now floating on a raft, while Angel was on the roof.
And they're in there, laying in there with muddy blankets, wet water just covering them. It was just, it's something I would never want anybody to go through.
When we drive over rivers, we drive over bridges, and you look down at those big concrete slabs thinking, oh, there's no way those can float. Those float when water is strong enough. And it was just like, there's no way one's not gonna hit us.
I started making phone calls. I have a special needs child, trying to make sure one of his older sisters or brothers, was going to take care of them, and just telling them to be good and to make good life choices just in case this thing went south, that I loved them.
We're standing there on the roof, and I looked out in yonder, and here comes helicopters, and I went, that's Virginia State Police.
In total, helicopters rescued all 70 people stranded at the hospital. But the scenes here have the potential to be replicated around the country because, like many others, this hospital was built in a floodplain. An investigation by our partners at KFF Health News analyzed flood simulation data from the company Fathom and identified at least 170 other U.S. hospitals facing the greatest risk of potentially dangerous flooding. Each of these hospitals could be shut down by a 100-year flood, the kind of extreme weather that has become more common due to climate change.
I suppose they're all thinking this is never going to happen to them, too.
Hopefully, seeing what happened in Tennessee and what's happened in other areas, maybe it'll make someone start thinking.
This investigation also found that much of this identified hospital flood risk seen here in animations from around the country does not show up on FEMA's official flood maps, in part because those maps are outdated and do not account for climate change.
After what happened to you, what's your level of concern for these other communities that are also in the face a similar threat?
I'm extremely concerned. It actually makes me angry that, these people have to rely on these areas to get medical help. And they're dangerous.
People go to the hospitals for help, not to be caught in a situation where no one can help them.
After losing their hospital, many here hope that other communities with hospitals at risk will better understand the kind of destruction that's increasingly possible on a warming planet. For CBS Saturday Morning, I'm David Schecter in Unicoi County, Tennessee.
You know, I recall when Hurricane Katrina hit, the idea was, the assumption was only coastal cities or cities surrounded by water were vulnerable to this happening, but it's everywhere. And the admission really needs to be made for people to like wake up to the fact of that.
Yeah, and it's the idea that it's not going to happen to us, and the 100-year flood, they keep happening. These things keep happening, so it's time to start reacting before it is too late.